That point streak is what the Sabres are up against tonight, the Vegas 9-gamer. Shayna Goldman from The Athletic is with us to look at what has made Vegas so successful again on the heels of winning the Stanley Cup last year. Shayna, for me, it's impossible to ignore that in the Cup final against the Panthers, the Vegas Golden Knights were dynamic on the power play at 6 for 19, and they were perfect on the penalty kill, and it just seems like that, amidst many other things, has really carried over for this group.
Yeah, I mean, they're not that different of a team than last year, right? They obviously lost Riley Smith, and I feel like something like that can't be understated. It's a cap world, and when you win Stanley Cups, you probably are going up in price somehow, so somebody has to get the boot. But what works for Vegas is they keep having these like little reclamation projects that work for them. And you look at Chandler Stevenson and what a player he's become for them after being a depth player in Washington. You look at someone like Brett Howden, who's found a really good home there. And then you have players like Paul Cotter, who are playing, I think, above where any of us would have expected. So you have these three scoring lines for them. And, you know, even though right now there's definitely some kinks to work out, that Stevenson, March, so Howden line, I think, is a little bit unsustainable what they're doing. You still see the first line crushing it. And even without someone like Riley Smith, that third line with, centered by William Karlsson is generating 63% of the expected goal share. Like, that is the team to beat if they're playing that well at even strength. And then, like you said, the power play is another weapon.
Duffer and I went on a little scouting date a few years back in Henderson when we were stuck in Vegas for an extra day, and we saw Paul Cotter, we saw Logan Thompson. The Vegas Golden Knights last year did it with 5 goalies, and they were so good defending in front of them. Both their goalies, 8 and 0, Logan Thompson, are in top 10 in goal save above expectation. But is this the goalie that are doing good, or is it the team that's defending really good and helping the goalies do that much better?
It's a little bit of both, which is the ideal situation, right? Last year we were looking at them saying, you know, this is a team that got by with average goaltending. It's because they're built so well in front of the blue paint, and not every team could pull that off. And this year we're seeing the goalies really pull their weight and show that they are not average goaltenders. Aiden Hill has been excellent. You know, he's among the best in goal saved above expected. As you mentioned, he has 13.5 goals saved above expected. The only goalies above him right now, according to Evolving Hockey, are Thatcher Demko, Tristan Jarry, and Connor Ingram, and Logan Thompson too. He's pulling his weight, especially with Hill hurt. So the fact that they're getting quality starts and have a chance to win every night because of their goaltending is absolutely huge. And that is, I think, an even bigger reason for their penalty kill success, because they've been good while shorthanded, but their goaltending has taken them up a notch. Their goals against, the only teams better are Boston and LA right now. So it's definitely a mix of both. They have the support of their defense, but with Shea Theodore injured and, you know, some things I think still to work out up front, they need a little bit more from their goalies, and they're getting that and more.
And Martinez injured as well. That's why it's surprising to me that their penalty kill has been able to just maintain this run. Look, they're top 3 in the league. They are 93% in their last dozen games. So what is, based on looking at it from the Sabres standpoint, Shayna, and what they like to do and would want to do more of on the power play, how does this matchup line up in your view tonight?
So I think what makes Vegas so dangerous on the penalty kill is that they have so much depth. They have so many high-end two-way forwards in their lineup. And you see players like William Karlsson, who you expect to be a top-notch penalty killer. He's over the boards first and out for that initial draw. But even someone like Jack Eichel, who really hasn't killed penalties before, is playing shorthanded. And he's someone who does a great job of driving play up the ice while he's on the penalty kill. He has one of the best offensive impacts in the league on expected goals while shorthanded. So having that, and then you have another, tandem like Chandler Stevenson and Mark Stone that can jump over the boards while on the fly and push the pace of play more, it makes the unit all the more disruptive. And while some teams might feel there's a risk to playing these types of offensive players while shorthanded because you don't know what's going to happen in your own zone, studies have shown that it actually is a good thing because you're pushing play out of your own zone. You're avoiding scoring chances in that way. So the fact that Vegas has 4 forwards who can disrupt play, and then some, it's going to make it tough for any power play to stay in formation against them and to keep playing their own zone. And a power play is the most dangerous, on the fly, off the rush. But you want a formation to be able to stay in your position and rove around the ice without having to worry about, trigger points that you're losing constantly to a team like Vegas.
So you talk about the formation. The Sabres in their last game, they look to move Tage Thompson to the not his off wing with the one-timer, to a strong side and be more on the right flank. Is that a way that the Sabres can utilize Thompson now or change the look of the power play, who hasn't been good in 2023 in the calendar year?
I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily the answer. I think that Tage Thompson has a really good one-timer, and we've seen him be so effective with it on the power play. We know what his shot can do. He can beat goalies in all different ways. He has a ton of creativity. But if you can set him up with that lateral pass and let him rip the puck from the circle, you're probably going to see a goal against, and that hasn't been the case this year. He doesn't have any one-timer goals against. Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting to see if shifting him is the answer, or if maybe the answer is the play preceding the shot, right? Because we talk about the danger of the shot, and public models unfortunately don't allow us to get that pre-shot movement, which, tells the story so much more than just the shot attempt itself. So I would be curious to see if this is what's going to help Tage Thompson, or if maybe this is going to pull him out of his natural shooting position a little bit more, and then everyone will be a little more challenged. It'll be interesting because he's not the only adjustment on that top unit, so it's not just one thing in a vacuum.
Shayna, thank you for the insight as always. We'll talk soon.